Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Five Tool Baseball Network podcast, episode two here in the 2025 season. And on the show in general, today we are starting with one of six division previews. Today we are starting with the AL East. I'm Samuel Levine. And on the bottom, that's Jake Morgenstein, and in the top left, that's Ryan Schlesinger. So here we go. We're gonna kick it off right away. First team, Ryan. Why don't you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, the first team is the Toronto Blue Jays, the team that finished last place in the AL East last year, but they made a little bit of moves this offseason, starting off with their biggest splash. They signed Anthony Santander to a multi-year contract. I believe it was 4 years. And I think this is a very solid signing. It's not the big splash they've been looking to make uh, earlier on in the offseason this year and in previous off seasons. But they still got a very solid bat. It's no Otani. It's not an addition like Sasaki that will like completely shift your team, but is a very solid addition, especially with the expectation, at least looking this way, that uh, Vladdy and Bichette will not be Blue Jays next year, as they are both free agents after this upcoming season. Having Santander, one of the better hitting outfielders in baseball, on a multi-year deal, helps them a lot, especially as maybe they'll look to retool. We don't know if they'll go into a full-blown rebuild, but they could look to retool, and they'll still have Santander as a good veteran that'll maybe help entice some solid players to sign there in the future. And then they also added Jeff Hoffman. So that's a very solid pickup for their bullpen, which is honestly just kind of average. Uh, Hoffman in the 2024 regular season, the former Philly, had a 2.17 ERA in 68 games. He's one of the better relievers in baseball. He's very underrated. So I'm a huge fan of Jeff Hoffman. And yeah, I'll go to you, Jake, because that's mostly it, what the Blue Jays have done this offseason. Although I'll just mention one more thing. They did add Andres Jimenez. Jimenez has not been much of a hitter. He was a decent hitter with the Guardians in 2022, but since then, a 713 OPS in 2023, and then his OPS went down to 638 in 2024. So, yeah, not a huge add offensively, but defensively, he's one of the best defensive second basemen in all of baseball. He's right there with like Otto Lopez, Bryson Stott, among others. So, I like
Otto Lopez.
Yeah, I like these three pickups for the Blue Jays. I don't think it like makes them a legitimate like World Series contender. And I'm not even sure if they're much of a playoff contender, but it'll kind of help in the transition year, I think.
Yeah, so the Blue Jays improved a small bit in every part of their team. You had Max Scherzer for the rotation, Jeff Hoffman for the relievers, Andres Jimenez for the infield, and Anthony Santander for the outfield. Andres Jimenez, a trade that was made, hit close home to me. I loved Jimenez as a Guardians fan. I'll still be rooting for him in Toronto. He is one of the best defenders you'll get. I mean, he was the best defender in the AL. So, yeah, that's a good addition. They've also got Dalton Varsho, who led the league in D-WAR last year. So they've got some solid defenders on their team. Jake, back to you now.
What I want to mention is I want to talk about Jeff Hoffman a little bit more and Anthony Santander. Hoffman, he posted that 2.17 ERA. Doesn't give the long ball as well. A great reliever for that. But then going back to the Andres Jimenez thing about fielding, he is 97th percentile in fielding run value, and he was top at 100% value, top in the league when it came to range last season. Going over to Santander, he was number 3 in home runs in all of baseball, which was huge for the Orioles. And I expect him to do something similar, transitioning to division rival this year. And then something that flew under the radar was Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was second among all players in batting average last year, which was also huge and can be huge for the Blue Jays this season, especially if Bo Bichette turns it around and Andres Jimenez produces a light bat.
I mean, they've got a slight chance at the playoffs, an outsider in the AL East. I mean, but they've got a lot of talent on the team. The real question is, can they put it together? I mean, it's one of the older teams in the league, I believe, among their star talent at least. So we'll see what they can do. I mean, yes, they've got some young pieces, but like Gausman, Berrios getting towards their older years. I believe Berrios is reaching the end of his prime. So now we're going to kick it to the Tampa Bay Rays, who had
And
some
then
devastation affect their stadium in the offseason. The roof was blown off by a hurricane of their stadium, so they'll be playing at Steinbrenner Field this year, the spring training home of the New York Yankees. Ryan, what are your thoughts about the Tampa Bay Rays?
Yeah, I think the Rays are just going to do what the Rays do. Last year, the Rays were probably the worst version of the Rays we've seen in several years. They finished below 500 for the first time in a while. They had consistently been in the playoffs, even though they hadn't been making it past like the wild card round and the divisional round, excluding 2020, obviously, when they made it to the World Series. And obviously, they didn't do much this offseason, per usual for the Rays. Their one big ad was Hassan Kim. They signed him to a 2-year deal. And I really like this ad. It feels like a very Rays-esque ad. So I think it makes a ton of sense. You get a utility player who's very scrappy. He can do a ton. He can hit for some power. He can hit for some average. He's coming off a down year where he did have an injury. But overall, just a very solid player overall, can play all around the infield, can steal some bases. He stole 22 last year. He's not like a great player, but he is a 5-tool player in some aspects. And I love this signing for the Rays. I think the ultimate goal is for them to squeeze every ounce of production they can out of Hassan Kim, like what they do for most of their players. And then other than that, you're not going to look for like big offseason acquisitions to come in and turn around this team outside of Hassan Kim. It's going to be the individual step forwards from these players. You look at guys like Jose Caballero, who stole 44 bases last year. Can he improve with the bats? He is only a 630 OPS last year. Guys like Junior Caminero, who was a top prospect, he only had 165 at-bats in his rookie year last year, but he looks solid with a 723 OPS. Can he take a step forward and become a superstar-type player? Because he really has a potential. He's only 21. That could be huge for them as like a Wander Franco replacement. Brandon Lau is still solid. Christopher Morel, can they get an improvement, bounce back year from him after what was the worst season of his young career thus far last year, being traded over at the deadline from Chicago to Tampa Bay. So that's what you're going to have to rely on if you're the Tampa Bay Rays and you want to finish above 500 and get into the playoffs again.
Jake?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the Rays team this year. Overall, their roster is significantly worse, I feel, than it has been in a very long time, even though they do have the young talent in Junior Caminero and the signing of Hassan Kim. But this division is just getting better. You've got 5 teams that are like 5 of the best 7 teams in all of the American League, really, in this division. And overall for the Rays, I don't see a lot coming from them. Obviously, with Kevin Cash as their manager, he's been a top manager in all of baseball due to getting a lot out of not a lot that he's been given. And overall, I think that the Rays as a team are going to have a lot of better chances this year if they are able to produce production from every single one of their players like they have been. But getting rid of Isaac Paredes and bringing in Christopher Morel at last year's deadline, I didn't like the move to start. I thought that they could have gotten more for Paredes, but if they want to make a playoff push, they're going to need good pitching, and they're also going to need talent from all sides of their hitting aspects.
I think the playoff potential for this Tampa Bay Rays team does not lie within the current team they have, but it lies within the previous success they've had, where people have constantly doubted them in seasons previous, and they've just magically made this insane postseason run. Like, they made it to the World Series in 2020. I believe they were 2 games away from winning the World Series. Yes, you could have called it a Mickey Mouse ring, but still, the fact that they made it to that World Series was pretty cool. So you have a team like Tampa, and previous years, what you see what they've done. Small market team, one of the lowest payrolls in baseball. You've got a guy, Junior Caminero, top 5 prospect in baseball. Let's not talk about the last time that Tampa Bay Rays had a top 5 prospect in baseball, because we all know what happened that time. Let's hope Junior Caminero pans out differently. And yeah, I think this is a solid Rays team that has a chance to do pretty well this year. So, barring any other comments, we're going to go to The Boston Red Sox. I'll start out with this one. It looks like Ryan's left for a second. Boston Red Sox, a very interesting team. They just signed Alex Bregman to a 3-year, $120 million deal, and people don't even consider it that much of an overpay, which is kind of crazy. It shows you the state of Major League Baseball. He's getting $40 million AAV, and it's not considered an overpay somehow. So that is pretty crazy. You've got Alex Bregman, Rafael Devers is going to play third. I've heard Bregman might play second, but this team overall has some very solid pieces, outfield, infield, just about everywhere. The staff's looking pretty solid too, but the offense is really the story for this team. They're looking very good. Also, they've got 3 of the top 12 prospects in baseball. Top prospects in baseball. All of them are hitters that are likely to go up this year, I believe. Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, and Marcelo Meyer. Jake, what do you think about Boston?
Well, you talked about their hitting prospects, and that's something great about this Boston Red Sox team is that they have the hitting prospects. They have some experienced hitters like Devers and who they added this offseason and Alex Bregman. But what you didn't mention was all of their pitching additions that they added this offseason. You have to talk about Walker Buehler, Garrett Crochet, two great adds to this rotation that are really going to help this Red Sox team. If I look at what Garrett Crochet was able to do last year with the Chicago White Sox after really his first year becoming a starting pitcher, he was very good. He was on a innings restriction or innings like pitch restriction. He didn't pitch a ton during last season, like going deep into games, but he did produce a 3.58 ERA, which is very good for among starting pitchers. He transitioned from a reliever, pitched as a reliever for a very long time, was a first-round pick in 2020, and overall, with this entire team, that they have a chance at becoming the playoff team and a team that can make a run, maybe the World Series. I don't know about this year, but in years coming forward, they have chances to become a really, really, really good team. And I really like the state of the Boston Red Sox right now. John Henry is spending money.
Completely agree. Ryan.
Yeah, I love what the Red Sox have done this offseason. I think they are the single most improved team in baseball with the additions of Crochet, Buehler, and Bregman. And it's great to finally see that the Red Sox are trying. I think they picked the right window now with top prospects like Roman Anthony and Tristan Campbell coming up, and among others as well. There's at least like 5 prospects who are highly anticipated and will make their debut within the next year and a half for the Red Sox. So their window is open right now. They will be World Series contenders soon. I don't see it yet this year when you have teams like the Dodgers, like the Mets, like the Phillies, and still the Yankees. Powerhouse like those teams are going to stop the Red Sox from being legitimate contenders. They could go on a sneaky run in the playoffs if they get healthy and hot at the right time. But I think next year is their year, and this year they still have a chance to win the division. I think a good chance to make the playoffs, but I just don't think they're complete enough yet. They're still very young, but watch out for the Red Sox next year.
All right, yeah. I mean, Red Sox, great future all around. I think we can all agree. Everyone can see that within this team. Now, they got a lot of additions. We'll just see how long it takes them to really build that team chemistry in the next coming year. Now it's the Baltimore Orioles we've got next. A weird team. They won 101 games. They were in this rebuild. First year, big year where they're supposed to contend the rebuild. They go out and have this insanely good year. 101 wins. But they get swept by the Rangers in the division round. Next year, this past year, 91 wins, bit underwhelming, horrible second half of the season, and nothing really seems to be going right for them as of now. They signed Tyler O'Neill, but they lost Anthony Santander, and among other pieces as well. Jake, your thoughts about the Baltimore Orioles?
Yeah, I think the Baltimore Orioles are one of the most overrated teams in all of baseball, and I expect them to miss the playoffs this season due to, A, the increase of talent in the AL East, and B, just overall what they've done this offseason. When you look at this offseason, you add Tyler O'Neill, you lose Anthony Santander. That is a downgrade. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about a downgrade. Anthony Santander had the most home runs of an Oriole last year and the third most in all of baseball. You do have Gunnar Henderson. You do have Adley Rutschman. But what pitching do you have? You lose your ace Corbin Burns this offseason, who goes and signs with Arizona. Your best pitchers are Zach Eflin and Trevor Rogers right now on this Orioles team. That's not what you want if you're a Baltimore Orioles fan. You do add Charlie Morton, who is very old and is in a big decline. He is 41 years old. Hey, what pitchers do you see succeeding at 41 years old in current day Major League Baseball with all of these guys throwing 100, throwing 104, and even starters are throwing that hard with and have breaking pitches that are as slow as 70 or 72. Like this, the Baltimore Orioles are not set up for success. They have good bats all around, but pitching wise, they have nothing besides Castillo to help to be their best reliever. That's all they have pitching wise. Diego Castillo. That's it.
They have Felix Bautista in the bullpen.
Or Felix Bautista, not Diego Castillo. I was mixing them up. But besides that, they have no pitchers. And I expect the Orioles to have a very down year and not as good of a year as everyone thinks that they have a chance of having. They gave up Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers also for Trevor Rogers, which could go down as one of the biggest fleeces in MLB history if either of those guys really pan out.
Yeah, I mean, Felix Bautista, he is coming back from injury, but who really knows if he's even going to be the same as he was last year? I mean, it's righteous to forget about him at this point. I mean, except you're a Baltimore Orioles fan, which none of us are. But this team, something's got to click early in the year because it went so unbelievably downhill last year. I mean, it was not shocking to anyone when the Royals swept them and their offense was non-existent, which is now like not the weakness of their team. So it's going to be interesting to see Gunnar Henderson. He's going to have to step up and really become the captain, the leader this year. I've expressed this for a while. I think some people may have overrated Adley Rutschman at points, and he's got to really step up this year. I want to see him hit the ball a lot harder, so hopefully he can. And he's going to have a lot of importance for this team's comeback this year as well. Ryan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree for the most part with what you guys have said. I'm not going to completely count the O's out of the playoffs because they do still have threats on offense and they do have breakout candidates like Jordan Westberg. They have reigning rookie of the year, Colton Cowser. They have Jackson Holiday, who is yet to break out yet, but maybe this is his year. They still have Ryan Mountcastle, Ryan O'Hearn. They have solid depth pieces like Heston Kjerstad and Kobe Mayo. So they have offensive threats. They have a ceiling of being one of the better offenses in the American League. But yeah, you guys already said it. They just have no pitching. It's really frustrating to see what Mike Elias has done with this team. You develop a great farm system that has now came up into the major leagues, and offensively they've been great. This is their window, and they're just adding nothing to the pitching to complement the offense. It's really frustrating to see. But yeah, I'm going to agree with you guys for the most part. If the Orioles, don't make changes at the deadline or even before that to their pitching staff, this team is not going to win more games, honestly. And I don't know if that's enough to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, what's also holding the Orioles back is the insane amount of talent teams that can easily sprout up in the AL in general and make the playoffs, make a push. Now for the New York Yankees. Ryan.
Yeah, I like the Yankees offseason. I don't think they did enough to make up for the subtraction of Juan Soto. If they would have gone out there and traded for a guy like Kyle Tucker or signed Anthony Santander, I think that would have been enough to maybe make up for the subtraction of Soto, at least on a year-to-year basis. But still, this team is very good. They have Aaron Judge, Anthony Volpe, Jazz Chisholm Jr., Austin Wells, and now add Cody Bellinger to that equation. That is 5 guys right there who are projected to have a F4 of at least 2.8 or better, according to the Fangraphs Steamer projections. So I like them offensively. I think they do make a lot of mistakes. They're not good fundamentally. And injuries have always been a problem with them over the past few years. But if they can stay relatively healthier than they were in previous years, this team is pretty much a lock to win more than 90 games and at least make the playoffs. I don't know how they'll do in the playoffs, but I like the way they're shaping up. And as for the pitching side of things, they still have Garrett Cole. They still have Carlos Rodon. I think Luis Gil is kind of slept on overall. And then, of course, their big offseason acquisition, Max Fried. I don't like the contract. I think it was a massive overpay, both AAV-wise and year-wise. I think Fried's very good, but I could see maybe a fall-off coming from Fried in the next few years. But for now, Fried is still a very solid pitcher, one of the best pitchers in the American League, at least for this year. So I have no worries about their pitching staff with Fried and Cole as the 1 and 2, and then Rodon and Gil as 3 and 4. That is a very solid pitching staff, one of the better pitching staffs in this division, if not the best in the division.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Ryan. Now, Jake.
The New York Yankees are the most complete team in this division when it comes to bats, pitching, and experience. Their experience overall with Max Fried and a lot of older talent, including Paul Goldschmidt, which they added this offseason, that is really the reason why that they're the most complete team over the Boston Red Sox or the Baltimore Orioles. But the key offseason subtraction, Juan Soto, it's a huge subtraction. And if you're the Yankees, making up for it with Cody Bellinger and 37-year-old Paul Goldschmidt is not how you replace Juan Soto. You need to bring in talent, a star. You add Max Fried, that's not a star to replace what Juan Soto did for your franchise in this one season. There's guys like Anthony Santander, who signed with your division rival. Guys like Kyle Tucker, who got traded to Chicago. All of these guys are huge additions to other teams. And for the Yankees, they lost their second best player. Their second best player last year in Juan Soto. But in clutch situations, he was their best player. And when it comes to that standard for the Yankees. Overall, I have no worries about the Yankees. I think they'll be fine. I think that there is a great chance that they go back and make the ALCS again. But to be in this World Series contention mode when you really only have one star bat on this team, who is always shaky in the playoffs, it's not what you want for the New York Yankees.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's honestly frustrating to see that Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman have not done enough with this opportunity. They have a great foundation. They have the best hitter in baseball since Barry Bonds, maybe the best hitter ever in Aaron Judge. And they kind of stopped spending. Hal Steinbrenner is saying he wants to slash payroll. There's no surprise there. Considering that they did not go out and extend Soto or sign Soto in free agency. They just did not do enough to make it for the subtraction of Juan Soto. But in terms of the division, they are still the clear favorite to win this division. And I just don't see them losing more than 90 games.
I think the New York Yankees did the best that they could.
I don't see them winning less than 90 games, excuse me.
Yeah. I think they did the best they could, like subtracting Juan Soto. Some free agents you're not gonna get, but you got Max Fried is solid. I think they did the best that they could have done.
We didn't even mention Devin Williams, who they added from Milwaukee.
Yeah, Devin Williams for the bullpen, exactly. That's like a big bullpen piece, one of the best closers in baseball, if not the best. But there's Clase.
He adds to their playoff. What am I trying to say? He adds to their players that will not shine in the postseason. Samuel.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, that's correct.
He fits them perfectly.
The Yankees still do have like a fundamental problem because there was not really a way, because there was not anything done to like make the Yankees play baseball. Joe Kelly, if you guys remember what he said our strategy in that World Series was to make the Yankees play baseball, which is insane to say. A team in the World Series, your motto is make them play baseball. That is one of the craziest things I've ever heard. And they didn't really do anything to fix that in my eyes. So we'll see how they deal with fundamental problems. And a lot of teams will catch on to that. So I think there's a point in the season where the Yankees could really struggle. Like any month. Like they could just have a really bad stretch. But I think a lot of teams can have that throughout the season. So New York, division favorites still, I think we can all agree, but a step back from the Juan Soto signing. And obviously, there's going to be a step back there. So now we're going to do our division order predictions. So we're going to order what we think. Are we going to do record prediction, guys, or is that going to be for another time?
I've got record predictions out if you guys
Okay,
want
I'm
to.
fine with predicting record.
I'm just going to come up with mine on the spot, so hopefully it's good. Who would like to start? I can start if anyone wants, or all right. I guess I'm going to start. So I'm going to go 5-1. I'm going to say Toronto is 5, and they're going to go 77 and whatever. 77 and 85 is going to be their record. Tampa, same as last year, I think. Tampa will get 4. They're going to be 79 and 83. Orioles will be number 3. They're going to be 85 and 77. Boston, 86 and 86 and 74. No, 86 and 76. And New York will win the division at 90 and 72. Wait, actually, Boston and Baltimore will have 2 more wins. There, so that's my prediction. I think the Yankees repeat as the division champs, while Boston and Baltimore both contend. Boston's going to surprise some people. I think they're going to do better than they expected this year, and that's my prediction. And Boston will be in a wild card spot, and Baltimore will not.
Yeah, I'm gonna make kind of a similar prediction to you. I'll start off with my last place team, the Toronto Blue Jays. I'll say the Blue Jays win. You said 77. I'll say like
You can copy
I
me
don't,
into it.
I don't want to copy you, but I feel like that's a very accurate prediction. Like they are like a 77 win team. They're just very mediocre. So I'm gonna say the Blue Jays do win 77 as well. Yeah, that team is just so mediocre. A few good bats, a few good defenders, a few good relievers, a few good starters, but not really star power outside of Vladdy, who I can't even rely on to be good year to year because he was really good in 2021, really good in 2024, but not that much superstar level production outside of those 2 years. And I can't really trust Bo Bichette to have a bounce back year after being one of the worst hitters in baseball last year among guys who played the full season. So yeah, I'm gonna say the Blue Jays win 77 games and get last place in the division, and then that'll lead me into my 4th place team, the Baltimore Orioles. I still think they're offensively. I think their offense is good enough to make them a 500 team. I'm gonna say they win 81 games, and yeah, they're gonna be 4th place with 81 wins. That pitching is just too bad, especially if they get some pitching injuries, which is kind of inevitable in the current day game. And the pitching's already so thin. I just don't know how you're going to make the playoffs and finish much better than 4th place when your pitching is arguably the worst in baseball. And then let's go to my number 3 team. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Rays. I think they're super scrappy. I like how young they are. And I trust their front office. I trust their coaching staff. I trust just their entire regime to make some good waiver claims and squeeze the most production out of their players. So I'm going to say the Rays sneakily win 87 games this year and sneak into that 3rd wild card spot. And then my number 2 team is going to be the Boston Red Sox. I think they're very solid. They're very balanced offensively and pitching wise. And their bullpen's also solid. They recently added Kenley Jansen, I believe, right? Am I wrong? Yeah, they did add. Excuse me, the Angels got him. They added someone. I really forget who they are, but yeah, I still think the Red Sox are just very solid, and I'm going to say that they win 91 games. Let's go.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, I honestly don't even know if they would be overperforming that much if they won 91 games because this roster just on paper is stacked. I mean, Jarren Duran, Rafael Devers, Alex Bregman. It's a very good team. It's one of the better teams in the American League. And then last but not least, the division winner, New York Yankees. I think they took a step down. I don't think they're a perfect team. I don't even know if they're elite. but they'll still win 94 games and win the division.
So I'm going to go with a little different approach here. And I talked about the Tampa Bay Rays a good amount. And I think that the Rays, they only get 75 wins. They go 75 and 87. I'm just not the biggest fan of the Rays overall. I understand the takes that, they squeeze tons of production out of their players and they have great management. But I'm gonna say 75 and 87 for the Rays. I'm going to go to my fourth place team, who are the Toronto Blue Jays. I think that they go 80 and 82 with overall a good roster with a lot of offseason additions, including Santander and Hoffman, which we talked about. They added Max Scherzer, Andres Gimenez, and I think that puts them over the 80-win hump. Then my third place team, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Orioles, who go 83 and 79. I think they barely squeak above 500. And with Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, they're able to do that. But the pitching-wise, that's going to set them back. But I think that with their overall bats, it is going to really help them due to having a great roster when it comes to position players. Second place, I'm going with the Boston Red Sox at 87 and 75. The Red Sox are, which we talked about, they added a lot of pieces this offseason. They got great bats, very young team, and I expect them to make a playoff push and get into the wild card round. And then, no surprise, first place, I'm going with the New York Yankees, who finished 91 and 71. They take a small step down from last year with the subtraction of Juan Soto, even though they had Max Fried, Devin Williams, Cody Bellinger, and Paul Goldschmidt. Which overall, as a team, I think that fundamentals will lose them a couple extra games, and they will find a way to still sneak above that 90-win mark.
Right. Yeah, Jake, I'm not a big fan of that Rays take at all. I just don't see how this team wins under 80 games or 75, for what you said. This team is just too good. They're very fundamentally sound. They have an elite coaching staff, and they aren't even that bad on paper. Like Jose Caballero steals a ton of bases. Top prospect in Junior Caminero. Hassan Kim, very good utility infielder. He was one of the more valuable players in baseball in 2022 with the Padres. Brandon Lau is always solid. You know what you're going to get out of him. And pitching-wise, they just always find relievers. They always find starters who are very sneakily good. And now they have Shane McClanahan back from Tommy John. He missed, I believe, all of the 2024 season. So this Rays team is only going to get better, and they won 80 games last year. They should win at least 83 to 85.
Yeah, I'm going to back you up a bit on that, Ryan. I'm a Guardians fan, and Rays and Guardians are two teams that are very much in the same boat. You know, expected not to win as many games in the, preseason. People don't expect them to win that many games, but when it actually comes to the regular season, they do perform. Small market teams as well. And that's what I think you could easily get about the Rays. That's why I'm never going to doubt them. That's why I'm never going to hate on them necessarily. And 79 might be a bit little for them, but I'm not going to disrespect them too much. In fact, I'll give them 80 and 82. I don't want to ever put them that low just because how they have performed in past seasons.
Yeah, I just wanted to also mention, we know that the Rays, outside of last year, made the playoffs every year from 2019 to 2023. But going back to 2017, they have won at least 80 games since then. The last time they won on less than 80 was 2016 when they had 68 wins. So they have been an 80-win or better team for almost a full decade now. So I just don't think this Rays team has declined enough to be a 75-win team, especially with the American League overall. The American declining around them. No more Corbin Burns. No more Juan Soto in this division. Yes, the Red Sox improved, but the AL East hasn't really improved around them. It's kind of just stayed the same, if not gotten slightly worse. So I just don't see a world where the Rays lose less than 80.
Yeah, I see Jake's take, though. Steep decline last year, first time missing the playoffs. They've got a chance. You never really know. There's a lot of outliers in this division. You don't really know what's going to happen. The Orioles could be good, but they also could be horrible. We don't really know. The Rays could be good, but they also just could be lackluster mid. Blue Jays, who knows if that talent really bodes well together. And New York, if the Juan Soto signing affects them or not. And Boston, is this going to be their first big leap? Like, are they going to really be that team this year that makes the playoffs, starts becoming constant contenders until at least the rest of the decade? You know, Jake?
I completely see all of your points on it. I'm just not the biggest fan of this Rays team. I really like Shane McClanahan. Their bullpen always finds a way to be good, but I just don't see them really getting over the 75. Maybe I see them getting a couple more over 75, but I don't see them getting past 80 wins.
But why? Like you complimented them. They have great pieces. I don't.
It's just overall the talent in the division, even though their star power in the division got worse, the talent in the division got better. It is arguable to say that. And then just the team itself, I just don't like how they're shaped up. They lost Randy Rosarena last year.
Randy Rosarena was awful offensively last year. He is not that valuable anymore.
Still, he was a big piece for them. Christopher Morel is really power bust, and just the team is just not great, which I'm not a fan of.
I like Christopher Morel to kind of be a breakout candidate, which leads us into our next segment. We're going to do some AL East awards / like breakout picks. We're going to start with a breakout pick. What's one player we're going to do 2 players from the AL East that you think are going to break out this year?
I said one.
We'll do 2. Why not?
I don't have a second one.
Okay, just do one then. Just do one then. It's fine. One player from the AL East that you think is going to break out this year. Who would like to go first? Jake, since you said you have one, you're going first.
Okay, I'll go first. I'll go with Tristan Casas of the Boston Red Sox. Tristan Casas in 212 at-bats had 13 home runs last year and is bound to have a 30-plus home run season. His defense is not terrible, and he's able to hit over 240, which he did last year. I expect him to maybe go up to 250, close to 260 this season, hit 30-plus homers, and really help the Boston Red Sox make the playoffs and have a chance at a playoff push. So for me, Tristan Casas is my breakout player pick.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jordan Westburg of the Baltimore Orioles. Jordan Westburg so far in 2 seasons, a 767 OPS. He has been solid. He hasn't really lived up to the top prospect that he was, but he's been close, and he's been overall unlucky throughout his career. You look at last year, 88th percentile in expected weighted on base average, 92nd percentile in expected batting average, 92nd percentile in expected slugging, 80th percentile in average exit velocity, 80th percentile in barrel percentage, 77th percentile in hard hit percentage, 81st percentile in launch angle sweet spot, 69th percentile in squared up percentage. The only issue for Westburg has been the walks. He's just 8th percentile in walk rate with a sub 5% walk rate. And his fielding has been pretty lackluster. He had a -5 outs above average last year, but he is a plus on the base paths as he stole in the 91st percent. Excuse me. He had a sprint speed in the 91st percentile, and his base running run value was in the 72nd percentile. So I like Jordan Westburg to be a huge, impactful bat for the Baltimore Orioles as long as he fixes his plate discipline and just improves the walk rate. Even by a little bit, he should be. If he improves his walk rate just by a tiny bit, he should be an above 800 OPS player.
Anyone that knows me knows that the Yankees could not be further from my favorite team. This pick hurts to make, but I have to make it. I think Anthony Volpe is suited up for a breakout year. He's got to figure out 97th percentile in base running run value, 92nd percentile in fielding run value. All he's got to do to get there and be the next guy, the captain for the Yankees. He grew up in Northern Jersey, a Yankees fan. He wants to be the next Derek Jeter. All he's got to do is figure it out at the plate, and I think he can. Anthony Volpe last year, he's lackluster year. 657 OPS. Horrible, I know. But as long as he figures it out at the plate this year, had no real positives at the plate, but he's going to be working the offseason to take that next step and be that next great Yankee shortstop. He's got to do that this offseason, and I believe he can. And he could step up into a big role for the Yankees, get into that top 4 in the lineup possibly. I think he's got a shot.
I don't like the pick at all. I think that Anthony Volpe does not have a great bat.
Valentine, that is not the shot.
And
okay, bro.
Valentine, that is not the shot. His bat is one. His bat.
No, I said his bat is one of the worst. I think he can figure it out, though.
His bat is seriously one of the worst in baseball. His XW is on base expected on base average is.
I said his bat is bad. I know his bat is bad, but I think he can figure it out at the plate, and he can become a. He is
only above average in 2 baseball savant stats, which are square percentage and whiff rate.
I'm saying, Jake, it's a breakout pick. Of course, they're not going to be good right now.
I think that both me and Ryan's picks have a lot better chances at a breakout pick due to them having good bat, great positives when it comes to hitting at the plate. Anthony Volpe, again, for me, will not have a great year at the plate. I think that everything you said about his fielding and base running is good, but you need to be able to hit if you want to be a top player in Major League Baseball, which I don't think he can do.
It's fair. I think he has a chance to do so. So that's my pick. Next, we're going to go to the Rookie of the Year for the AL East. I'll start out with this one. My pick is going to be Roman Anthony of the Boston Red Sox, the number 2 prospect in baseball. And once Roki Sasaki reaches the required amount of innings to be not considered a prospect, Roman Anthony will take over as number 1 prospect. I think he's going to get called up pretty early in the year. He's going to have a great season for the Boston Red Sox. He will be my Rookie of the Year. He's going to be the guy that leads them one of the guys that leads them in the playoffs under the veteran leadership of Rafael Devers, Alex Bregman, and many others in the Boston Red Sox organization. Ryan,
I'm not ready yet.
He is.
All right, I'll just go with Roman Anthony as well. I'll basically just reiterate everything you said. He's a threat on the base pass. He can hit very well. He's basically the number 1 prospect in baseball. I really like Roman Anthony. I think that the only other pick that you could really even have would be Junior Caminero, but I like the Red Sox a lot more than I like the Rays, which we've heard about already, and I don't think that there really is another option besides Roman Anthony in this division that you could go for Rookie of the Year division.
Yeah,
Ryan?
I'm just going to change it up because you guys did a repeat, so we can't really go 3 in a row. I'm going to go with Jason Dominguez of the New York Yankees. I'm not even sure if he's still there, but I'm like almost pretty sure because he's only played in 26 games in his career. But Jason Dominguez, once a top prospect, has not figured it out in the majors just yet. In 2024, he only played in 18 games, has 617 OPS. He was solid in a slight glimpse of him in 2023 before season-ending injury. 8 games, 980 OPS. So I just love Jason Dominguez's athleticism. He's a great fielding outfielder. He can play center. He can play left. He can play right. And he's got a ton of power. And he can run. He is a true 5-tool player if he reaches his potential. And I like Jason Dominguez to win American League East Rookie of the Year. Excuse me.
Yeah, a lot. I like that take as well. Another contender could be Junior Caminero or Christian Campbell, who's on the Boston Red Sox. Junior Caminero on the Rays. This all a lot depends on how good of a spring training they have, and this is the only division on this podcast where we will have not seen these players in spring training already. All the other division preview podcasts, we will have already seen them in spring training. So just keep that in mind. Now we've got the Cy Young Award winner, Jake. Who is your Cy Young Award winner?
One of my favorite pitchers to watch in baseball. He's coming off of a Tommy John year. It's Shane McClanahan of the Tampa Bay Rays. And as much as I'd like to hate on the Rays, you can't hate on Shane McClanahan. He's got one of the best off-speed pitches in all of baseball. And McClanahan was one of the best pitchers when he pitched in 2023, posting a 3.29 ERA. In 2022, he posted a 2.54 ERA. And to me, Shane McClanahan, he's almost like the old school style of pitcher. He doesn't throw really hard. He has great off speed. And overall in this division, he'll be able to get hitters to swing and miss, which is one of the things that he is the best at, great at. Gets a lot of players to whiff. And to me, Shane McClanahan is going to go back to his dominant self, almost like how Blake Snell was in 2018 with the Tampa Bay Rays. And that's why I think Shane McClanahan will be the Cy Young winner of the AL East.
Yeah,
Cy
I
Young.
love that. I love that you're finally giving the Rays the respect that they deserve, even though you hate them as a team for literally no reason. But I'm going to go to another team that I'm high on in the Boston Red Sox and their new ace, Garrett Crochet. Last season, 32 starts, only 146 innings because of the aforementioned innings limit that the White Sox had him on, which Jake mentioned earlier. 3.58 ERA, but advanced metrics suggest that he was very unlucky. A 2.85 expected ERA, nearly a full point lower than his actual ERA. 0.204 expected batting average. That's in the 89th percentile. That's extremely good for a starter. 92nd percentile fastball velo. He throws an average fastball of 97.1 miles per hour. He throws a really good cutter at 91.5 miles per hour, which he uses 28% of the time. Then he also has a sweeper, change, and sinker in his arsenal. And then also 93rd percentile in chase percentage, 93rd percentile in lift rate, 98th percentile in strikeout rate. He strikes out over 35% of batters he faces. Garrett Crochet is one of the most disgusting, if not the single most disgusting left-handed starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. And I love him to win Cy Young, especially now that he's out of that dumpster fire, which is the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, someone's got to say it. My Cy Young pick, today at least, is Garrett Cole. He's done it year in, year out for 3 different teams. I think he's going to do it again this year. And the only thing stopping him is covering first base. Now, the MVP for the AL East, just because we already did Cy Young, let's just keep it as a hitter for now and no pitchers. We'll have that go for all divisions. Ryan, you seem pretty intent on giving a pick, so let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm very intent because I feel like maybe not Jake, but you, Veli, will steal my pick here. So I'm going to go first, and I'm just going to say it. It's going to be Aaron Judge. There is just no way, if he stays healthy, Aaron Judge does not win this division MVP. You look at other candidates around the division, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Rafael Devers, Jarren Duran, Gunnar Henderson, all good competition. But if Aaron Judge just has a slight down year, all he really needs to do is have an above 1,000 OPS plus, which he's done in the previous 3 seasons. So there's no reason for me to think that he won't do that again. Like I said earlier, he is the best hitter we've seen since Barry Bonds. He is probably the best hitter we've seen that hasn't taken steroids. And I mean, this guy is just incredible all around the board. Even though he plays on the Yankees, I think he's somehow underrated. He is that good. I think he's maybe a little overshadowed by Shohei Ohtani, but this guy is just incredible. I mean, you could make the argument that he was even better than Shohei Ohtani last year. I think he was without Ohtani's pitching, even though Judge doesn't steal bases that much. I'll just go through his stats real quickly, even though there's not much left to be said. 100 percentile expected weighted on base average at a .479. By the way, that's batting average with like doubles, triples, and homers having more value. 100 percentile barrel percentage. He barrels the ball in over a fourth of his at-bats. Average exit velocity of 96.2. That is in the 100th percentile. And his expected slugging was .723 in the 100th percentile, which his slugging alone is higher. It's significantly higher than his teammate Anthony Volpe's entire OPS.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.
All right.
No. I'm going first. I'm not. I'm gonna pick Aaron Judge, so you can't go 3P. That's right.
I wasn't playing. I wanted to be different. I was.
Okay.
Wait,
Can we save that for last then?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go Aaron Judge. I quite frankly do not care that Ryan picked him. I'm still gonna go with Aaron Judge because he averages a hard hit ball on every single ball he hits. That is incredible. 96.2 is what you said, Ryan, right?
Yeah.
All right. That's just incredible to me. Like I cannot believe that. You almost never see that. 96.2 miles per hour, 95 plus is a hard hit ball. Aaron Judge, no reason to believe that he's going to decline this year. I mean, he might decline, but there's no reason to believe that he's going to be less than 95% of what he was last year.
Yeah. One more thing, just to reiterate, you mentioned that like he might decline, and I also kind of touched on it. Even if he declines, how much can this guy really decline? He had a 1.159 OPS last year. It is the most productive offensive season since prime Barry Bonds. I mean, even if he declines a little bit, he still probably has an OPS well above 950 and easily runs away with the division MVP. Not to mention his defense. Now that he's moving out of center field and back to right field, he is a very good defender. He has great arm strength. He's a good all-around player too. He's not just a great hitter. This guy is so clearly the MVP, health permitting.
Yeah. And like to reiterate, it's going to be hard for him not to decline. Like 1.159 OPS is insane. Jake, whoever your pick is, I really hope it's just anyone. I really hope it's Connor Henderson because anyone else I'd really consider a diabolical pick, in my opinion. Who are you gonna say?
It's not Gunnar Henderson, but I don't think that I don't think that there is a choice against Aaron Judge. But just to be different, I'll say Jarren Duran.
Duran. That's not too bad.
Jarren Duran is one of the fastest players in baseball when it comes to base running. He's a great fielder, and his bat is definitely way above average. It was not as good as Aaron Judge's bat or Gunnar Henderson's bat, but he expected batting average of 275 is 87th percentile in all of baseball. He like Aaron Judge does hit the ball very hard, not as hard as Aaron Judge, but he hits it about 91 miles per hour per swing, which is still very, very good. And he's a big player, not as big as Aaron Judge. He weighs 205 pounds and stands at 6 feet tall. So he's able to he's swinging for power. He makes good contact, and he's overall a 5-tool player when it comes to all of baseball. I don't think there's a choice against Aaron. I don't think there really is a choice against Aaron Judge, but just to be different, I'm going with Jarren Duran.
Yeah, Jake, I actually did not mind that take. I just think the way you presented it was very bad. There were a lot of better pieces of evidence that could have been used towards Jarren Duran winning the American League East MVP, like how great of a guy he is. He's always accepting of other fans in the ballpark, regardless of race.
Oh no!
He's just one of the best persons in the league. He's one of the greatest people on and off the field. I mean, you can't.
He's got a great personality.
Yeah, I mean, his personality is arguably even better than his performance on the field.
Okay, running out of time on the show. We're gonna get to the AL East draft now. Good picks for MVP, Cy Young, a breakout player, Rookie of the Year. So we're going to be doing a starting lineup for the AL East. Same rules as the last draft that we did to beat the Dodgers, except this time we're going to add in a stadium and a manager.
It's all AL East players. There's no limit on what players to pick as well.
Yeah,
last time we need
all nine slots in the batting order, 3 starting pitchers, 2 relievers,
and a stadium and a manager. Yep.
All right.
3, 2, 1. All right, here we go.
So,
all right,
Samuel, you got the first pick.
With my first pick, I'm taking the greatest stadium in all baseball, Steinbrenner Field. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna go Aaron Judge.
All right, Arson and Wright.
That is self-explanatory.
We can switch them around later.
Okay.
Yeah.
With my first pick, I am going to go with the best tennis player in baseball. Give me Jarren Duran.
I was planning you going Gunnar Henderson, so I'll go ahead and take Gunnar Henderson.
I cannot believe you just let him take Gunnar Henderson.
And then I'll take his teammate Adley Rutschman for positional value at catcher.
Ooh. Well,
Okay, talk about positional value at catcher. I was really about to go Austin Wells there, but no. I gotta. We're going Rafael Devers, and we'll play him at third.
It's a good pick.
All right. By the way, there is no limit that is regarding someone to a certain team.
Yeah.
So I will be building the rotation here. Garrett Cole. And since I ended up with 5 ERA David Bednar last time, that will not be happening again. Devin Williams will be my closer.
All right. Thank you for picking Garrett Cole because now I get my position.
Your Cy Young pick.
Garrett Crochet.
Garrett Crochet. You've got an all Red Sox team over there.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to be adding to my starting pitching as well, and I'll take my Cy Young pick. So we all got our Cy Young picks. I'll go with Shane McClanahan.
All right, not bad.
Be my pick, and then I'm going to head over to third base, where I'll be adding Alex Bregman.
Okay, that means I do not have to take a third baseman for the rest of the round. Thank you, guys.
All right. I will go with let's go with I'm just gonna think. This is tough.
We're gonna end up with some really bad players on our team.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
Can't wait for the White Sox division.
No, I think it's just gonna be a 4-team draft, to be honest, featuring Luis Robert.
I'm gonna go with Jeff Hoffman as my closer. I already placed him, but
Good pick.
I will keep the theme of picking the guys for my awards.
All right. Don't know what to go with here. I want to go catcher. All right, it is my pick now. I believe so. Yeah. During the break, I did not think about my pick once. So, uh-oh. You know what? It's time to take a manager early. A manager is very important to a team's success. That's why I'm taking Kevin Cash.
I thought about it.
But you didn't.
No,
It's me. It's me.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna keep the Yankees pitching staff going. Give me Max Fried.
I like that pick.
I was gonna draft him last time.
Max Fried. I know it's Max Fried, guys.
Yes, I know it's Garrett. I know it's Garrett Crochet.
Yeah, we're not stupid, guys.
I'm gonna go with. He had to be taken at some point. Let's go with the best first baseman in the division, Vladimir Guerrero.
I completely forgot about
that
Vladdy.
was just a plain screw up. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think we all forgot about Vladdy.
That was dumb. Wow.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with for my next pick. I'm gonna take Fenway Park, the best stadium in this division, and a top 5 or 6 stadium in all of baseball. So we literally have it as our background for this. So I will be taking Fenway Park, and then what do I want to do for my next pick? For my next pick, I will be going with. I'll go with Anthony Santander to play right field for me. Pretty self-explanatory why I went Santander, but yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go with Let's continue the manager theme here. Samuel, you got undoubtedly the best manager in this division. I'll take the second best manager in this division. Give me Alex Cora.
So two people just passed up a manager that took their team to the World Series. That is crazy.
I think Aaron Boone is overrated.
Yeah. See, I would normally not want to do a stadium pick, but because I have Aaron Judge on my offense, he particularly mashes in a stadium in which they just moved the wall in. So I'm going to go with Camden Yards, and They just added someone. The Orioles just added someone, which was the reason for them moving the wall in, and his name is Tyler O'Neill. So that's gonna be my next pick.
Center or left?
Left. I don't think he can play center.
I think he used to with the O's. No, I mean not with the O's, with the Cardinals.
I'm planning for my lineup to just be all power.
All right.
Nothing else.
Now I'm gonna go with the catcher positional value and get the second best catcher in this division, the Austin Wells.
Solid.
Jake.
All right, I'm going to go with my closer here. And as much as we touched on him earlier, I'm going to go Felix Bautista. I forgot his name earlier, but I'll go Felix Bautista to my closer. And then for my next pick, I'll go. Who do I want to go with here? For my next pick, the crowd at Fenway Park is going to be mooing a lot this year. I'm going to take Colton Cowser to play left field. They're not booing, they're mooing for Colton Cowser.
All right, I want to take one of the better DHs in baseball when he's healthy. I feel like you guys might have forgotten about him. He's Giancarlo Stanton. Because in this, we're kind of assuming that the whole team is healthy. So I'm going to go Stanton.
All right. I think I'm actually going to lock up my pitching staff right here. So I'm just going to go with offense for the rest of the draft. After that, ooh, wait a minute. Let's see. The better relievers still left. Baltimore already taken. Yankees already got Devin Williams. Rays. Hopefully I don't look really stupid and I'm forgetting someone. Let's just go with Jeff Hoffman. Wait, Jeff Hoffman already got taken, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so
Yes.
sorry, what? Okay. My pick is going to be shoot. All right, I'm just going to take a starter here. Jake already took McClanahan. I'll just dang, this is tough. Just give me Carlos Rodon, I guess. We'll keep the Yankees team going. Not the best pick, but
All right.
Almost all Yankees.
yeah, Yankee staff. That's what we're going for.
My rotation kind of lacks in depth.
Yeah, it's
No.
it's Samuel's pick.
Yeah, you better stop trying to see.
I am trying to cheat.
I think Boston might have the reliever that I'm looking for. Or maybe they don't. I have no idea. You know what? They do. And I think this guy's got a chance to come back. I believe he had a down year. Give me Liam Hendricks. You guys might not have even known he was on the Red Sox, to be honest.
I knew he was on the Red Sox, but I have my next reliever pick.
I've
forgotten about.
That leads me into my next pick. I'm also going to go reliever. This solidifies my bullpen as the best in this draft. I think these are arguably the 2 and number 3 relievers in this division. That's Jeff Hoffman and Edwin Uceda.
Come on, that's who I was picking. I was picking Edwin Uceda.
It could easily go downhill for him. I did forget about him. I probably would have picked him though. So
no, I wanted Edwin Uceda. Well, okay, so that means I don't have to draft a reliever for the rest of the draft. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take positional value. Give me Jordan Westburg for second base.
Good pick.
And then I'm gonna go with Marlins legend Jazz Chisholm Jr. to play center field for me.
Ryan is trying to connect. Jake's got his whole offense filled out. Can you go to my offense real quick? Yeah, pretty different.
It is Arson Judge and no one else.
Tyler O'Neill. Put some respect on his name.
I was literally
He
about
could
to take
beat you
him.
up very easily, and I will use him to do that.
I'm wearing a Jazz shirt right now. I was about to take him, but
Dang.
this is tough. I don't know who to take here. Give me a guy. This is a little bit of an inside joke. Give me a guy who was very well liked by an individual at camp. Give me Kevin Gossman.
Nice. Yeah, voice cracked. Sorry. No, my goodness.
Kevin Gossman.
Good pick. All right. I'm going to go to... I don't know where I'm going. You know what? I'm just going to pick up some defense for the squad. Aaron Judge, we all know what happened with him in the World Series last year. So we will be making sure that we have good defenders. They both come from Toronto, two of the best defenders in baseball. Dalton Varsho is going to be the center fielder. Andres Gimenez is going to be my second baseman. Got to solidify the defense.
Man,
Defense. I know it's weird, but it's defense.
The Guardians fandom has gotten to you, Samuel.
Yes, obviously I was going to take Gimenez at some point. Come on.
I don't think either of us were looking at Andres Gimenez. He still can.
No, Miles Straw will not be on my team. That is a fact. The Blue Jays wanted $2 million in international pool money, and we told the Blue Jays take Miles Straw too, and then you can have it.
All right, I'm gonna go with
how badly the Cleveland organization does not want Miles Straw.
All right, I'm gonna go with a guy who I consider taking as my breakout pick. Give me Shane Baz. He had a 3.06 ERA last year, only 79 in the third innings, but I think he'll take another step forward this year and become a very solid start SP3 for my team.
Okay, so that means I do not need to take either starting pitcher, but I have both of them in mind. So, really, can I see my team?
Yeah.
Really, I just need to go with a first baseman. And I'm going to go with my breakout candidate for that first baseman. I'm going to make Tristan Casas to play first base for me. I talked about him earlier. And then I'm going to go with my designated hitter, who is going to be... I think that all of you guys forgot that George Springer is in this division. So I'm going to take George Springer to be my DH.
Okay, interesting picks right there. But I'm going to go with a guy put up worse than George Springer last year and also plays outfield. Give me Cody Bellinger to play right. He has not been picked, I believe.
Oh, I forgot about Cody Bellinger.
Oh.
I should have taken Bellinger. It's all right, though.
Yeah, I should have taken Cody Bellinger and Dalton Varsho.
I think my team right here has no weaknesses. Good rotation. I mean, it's a solid rotation. It might be the worst.
I've got two starters that I like that are better.
It's solid rotation. Probably the best bullpen in this draft, and the offense is great. The defense is solid. I don't see any weaknesses.
Okay. Stop bragging. Thanks. We're gonna take a guy that surprisingly did not come up in any Rookie of the Year conversations. He comes from Baltimore. He's going to be... I think we might flip him with Jimenez, but he's going to be shortstop for now. Jackson Holiday. I know.
I saw you were going to take Heston Kjerstad there.
I still could. I know you're high on Heston Kjerstad, which I might do that, but give me a sec. I gotta find my next pick. I need catcher, first base, third base. And I can get a DH.
We gotta get in some deep cuts right here.
Well, I'm gonna take my first baseman. Chances still do well. Right now, it will be Paul Goldschmidt.
I would have probably taken Ryan Mountcastle, but you went Goldschmidt. That's fine.
Veteran move.
If you want veteran talent.
I'm surprised you went Paul Goldschmidt there. With a third base spot open. I'm going to go with Ha-Seong Kim to be my starting shortstop. He can play all around the infield. I like him defensively anywhere, but he'll play shortstop.
So none of my picks could get stolen for the rest of the draft since my lineup is done. And I'm going to go with a proven starting pitcher here and give me Max Scherzer to be my SP2, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. And I just want the veteran talent on my team. And then I'm going to go with my manager, where I'm going to take Aaron Boone to be my manager. Just led his team to the World Series, and getting him
Can't
this
really
late,
get
I feel
unlucky
like
with managers.
getting him this late, I feel like is good for me to get Aaron Boone now.
All right,
Great
I'm gonna go with a big sleeper pick here. I'm gonna take my stadium, and y'all are gonna laugh at this. I'm not gonna take Steinbrenner Field. I'm gonna actually take the Trop. I'm gonna predict that the Rays move back into the Trop in 2026, except the roof is completely off. And they just play in the Trop. It's an outdoor stadium. I love the Trop when I went to it. I believe I've been to it 3 or 4 times now. It's a very nice stadium, very intimate atmosphere. Yeah, the Trop is one of my favorite stadiums in baseball. I think it would be even cooler with the roof off. So we're going to go with the roofless Trop for my stadium.
I like the pick. Can't argue with it.
All
right. And my third baseman, I think a lot of people saw this coming, Junior Caminero.
Like that pick.
Former Guardian. I'm mad at that. We traded him when he was like in the Dominican Summer League or something.
Damn.
Unfortunately. All right, so this where it gets tough. Let's see. I'm looking for a good DH. I think
Masataka Yoshida's on the board.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking about taking, and that will be who I am taking.
He cannot field, so I have nothing to lose by telling you that because I have Stanton.
All I need is a catcher now.
Yeah.
Who did you guys choose as your catchers? Wells and
Adley.
I chose Wells and Jake chose Adley. So you can just make a catcher pick right here because we can't steal anyone from you.
No, I gotta find who I'm gonna take. You
Okay.
guys can go around.
Come back around you. All right, I'm gonna go with you know what? Defensive liability, but he's still actually no. We're gonna go with an underrated pick here. I was gonna go Masataka Yoshida playing left. Let's go Wilyer Abreu. He was quietly had a 114 OPS plus last year, 781 OPS, 3.4 WAR in 132 games. He's one of the more underrated players in this division. So give me Wilyer Abreu as a solid late draft pick.
Looking at my team,
go Glover, like that.
Looking at my team, what I need is a pitchers, and I've got really a choice between 2 guys to be my setup man. The 2 choices are Roldis Chapman or Peter Fairbanks, and I'm going to choose Pete Fairbanks here. He's younger. Chapman's way past his prime, and I'm going to go Pete Fairbanks for my pick to be my reliever. And then a couple choices. I've got Luis Gil on the board to be my starter, but I'm going to go with one of my favorite starting pitchers who I wanted my New York Mets to go and grab. Give me Walker Buehler from Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh, I like that pick. Okay. Last pick here, second base. Has Brandon Lau not been taken yet?
Brandon Lau has not been taken.
That's a surprise. Give me maybe the most consistent player in this division outside of like Aaron Judge. Brandon Lau, you know what you're going to get out of him? Like a 105 to 110 OPS plus, good defense, very good at the fundamentals. I love Brandon Lau right here as my last pick. Samuel?
All right. This is going to be a weird pick. I'm between 2 people. 3 people. 1, Alejandro Kirk. 2, Danny Jansen. 3, Gary Sanchez because he is great in Camden Yards. And you know what? It's outside the box. But I'm going to go with Gary Sanchez just because of his stats in Camden Yards.
Man, you have to play 81 games outside Camden Yards.
Yeah, he's still got 81 games inside Camden Yards. That's fine. Too.
I'm going with Alejandro Kirk if I were you.
I actually am going to kind of switch it. Danny Jansen.
Okay. All right. That concludes the draft. I think Samuel's team comes in third, and I think me and Ryan's team it's very close.
I built my team compared to the stadium mainly because I got a
think
ton of
it's-
guys that can hit the ball as a wall in left field.
I think it's very close between me and Ryan's team.
O'Neal, Caminero, Judge.
I like your
Don't
team a
see
bit
now,
better.
You like mine better?
I think mine has more upside, but yours is
Also, I
I feel like I
specifically let me say something. I specifically made my team bad so that Kevin Cash could make them good. I'm
Okay.
kidding. Okay, I know I sucked. Yeah.
I think
Just admit
Sammy
it.
wins Sammy wins the manager award. Manager of the year overall. If I'm not gonna pick my team over Ryan's. I'm just not. I'm not going to. But besides
What's your
that, I
pitching
think that
staff look like?
my pitching staff is pretty good. I went more veteran talent. Ryan went more younger with upside. So if you want a veteran team, you go mine. If you want a young team with upside, I think you could go with his.
I mean, the lineup's got its holes. I mean, like all those guys could, besides like
All those
Gunnar,
guys
could
are-
have a bad season.
Yeah,
all those guys
I don't really have any holes in my lineup though. Like Vladdy's gonna have at least a decent season. You know what Lau's gonna be. You know what Devers is gonna be. You
You don't know what
Kim.
Kim's gonna be.
You don't know about Kim. Well should take a step forward because he's only like 24 and he was actually solid last year. Yeah, I really like my lineup.
Can I explain my team?
I think you already did.
All right. So I got a very good pitching staff. Guys that have all formerly been all-stars, I believe. Rodon's been an all-star. Yeah, he has. The offense, you've got your power hitters, Goldschmidt, Caminero, O'Neal, Judge. All of those guys can easily hit the ball over the short left field wall. Our left field wall is going to be 330 feet, the shortest left field wall in Major League Baseball, because that's what the Baltimore Orioles do. So that's what's going to happen. And I've got the players to do that. You've got the defenders, Jimenez, Varsho. You got the young talent, Holiday, Caminero. You got the veterans, Goldschmidt, O'Neal, Judge. They're all sort of veterans, and just some solid players to fill in the lineup all around. I like my team, but I get it. It's probably not the best.
Is that going to do it for the pod?
Yeah, I think that's going to do it. Good draft overall. I think Ryan's team probably takes it. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah, I'll give it to him. That's fine.
Yeah. A great podcast for you guys today. Next up, we actually don't know what division's next, but we'll have a new member of the 5-Tool Network on the podcast next time. And that's all for today. Jake Morgenstein, Ryan Schlesinger, I'm Samuel Levine. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one, everybody.